We did have an executive session on September the 25th at 4:30 p.m. And that was to discuss real estate in the form of CHR and a notice that we had received. At this time, is there any public comment? You will be given an opportunity as well at the end if you so desire. I'm committed, it's up to the others, to listen to what you have to say. But if you have something to say now, you're more than welcome to as well. Okay, hearing none, we're going to ask Jay Wenger, who is our consultant from Susquehanna Group, to give you some comments regarding an asset purchase agreement that we received.
As Commissioner Litz said, I'm Jay Wenger with Susquehanna Group Advisors. We've been working with the commissioners since I think about March in this transition of Cedar Haven to complete healthcare resources. And we have two gentlemen here. Most of you who are employees here probably know Ed and Mike. You've probably been in the building a lot recently. And they're going to make a few comments, but I just want to give you some sense of why we're having this meeting today and what the agenda is. We were originally scheduled to close today, and as you know, you're already enrolled for healthcare benefits, and all the payroll was set up to be part of CHR as of midnight tonight. We were notified last week that CHR had some deadlines that they couldn't meet with respect to getting a financing in place in order to close today, and so we're going to push the closing back 30 days. From your perspective, CHR will start tonight at midnight. You'll be on their payroll, you'll be on their benefit package as you were expecting. But from the county side, we won't close until the end of October. So we're entering into a working agreement with CHR whereby they will be the manager of Cedar Haven until we get to the closing. And so from your perspective and the resident side, it's exactly as we said it would be, starting at midnight tonight. The only difference is from the commissioner's side, we won't close on the transaction for probably another 4 weeks. So again, everything that you thought was going to happen at midnight tonight will happen. From the commissioner's side, they just won't have a transfer of funds effective tonight. It'll be probably October 31st is the target date. The reason we're pushing it back 4 weeks is from a reporting and accounting perspective. It's a lot easier to do these sale transactions at the end of the month as opposed to on an interim basis. There are payroll issues, cost report issues, reimbursement issues that get much more complicated if we do it on any day other than a month end. So we're pushing it back 4 weeks to simplify the reporting more than anything else. Having said that, if I missed any points, I can make them now. Jamie, did I miss anything? David?
I'm Ed Valiant. I'm the Regional Vice President with Complete Healthcare, and I think I probably have had a chance to either meet all of you or be standing in front of the room as we've had some of our meetings. As Jay mentioned, anytime that there is a transition of something this large, there's always those little things that pop up, and unfortunately some of those have taken a little longer than we had anticipated. However, again, the main change tonight is all the employees will transition, the operations will completely transition, the physical plant itself won't transition tonight. That'll happen at the end of October. We're very pleased. The staff have been wonderful to work with. All the employees are enrolled in the payroll system. Almost all are enrolled now into the time clock system. We still have a few weekend staff that we need to get into the system. We've had our education and training on corporate compliance, residents' rights and dignity, HIPAA privacy. Those are all completed. We have our computer techs are here getting the systems ready to transition over. The new Wi-Fi system and computer systems are going in. So we're very pleased with the progress of all of that. The vendor contracts have been done. We have worked with several of the consultants that have started working with the department heads on new processes and procedures they'd like to see in the building. We've had meetings with the residents and the families to talk about some of their concerns. So from our standpoint, we're ready to go. We will be in here tonight at midnight with the staff to put the stickers on the chart saying that there's a change of ownership at midnight and go through that process. You know, again, I can't thank everyone enough for their time and attention. Typically, when we do new enrollment for employees in our education sessions, in the first 3 or 4 days of training, we'll see maybe half the staff. We trained 320 some staff in 3 days last week, and everyone was just as polite and kind. And it's an hour and a half of training. It takes a while, but everyone was great, and we appreciate that. Other than that, the surety bonds are done for the resident trust accounts. All the paperwork with the Department of Health is finished. We have the letters of approval. All the information with the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services are completed. We had the nurse aid training program transferred, so everything's ready to go. again, except for the fact that the building itself will be transferring over.
David, are you going to review some of the terms of the agreement for us?
Sure, I can. Would you like me to come up first?
Yeah, use the microphone so everyone can hear, please.
David Warner from Buskin Davis, I'm the county solicitor. This is kind of the boring legal side of things, I'll say. So we can blame the banks for the delay and the lawyers for the amount of paperwork that we have to do to explain the delay. So we have a series of documents that the commissioners will be reviewing today and considering for a vote. The first kind of step-by-step in the process would be an amendment to extend the asset purchase agreement. We have an asset purchase agreement, which is basically our contract with CHR with all the terms and conditions and everything to do the transaction, which called for it to close today. We're effectively extending the asset purchase agreement, so it will be bumped out again to October 31st, which is now our anticipated settlement date. So that would be document number one. Would you like me to go through them all? Sure.
How about we do that one first? Are there any questions on the asset purchase agreement amendment? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Sir, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Aye. Motion carries.
The second document would be a management services and lease agreement. This document is effectively kind of our stopgap here for 30-day period of time that we anticipate getting to closing again, that would again provide for CHR to take over all the employees, the human resources, all those things, and otherwise all of the management and operations of the facility. So this just lays out the terms and conditions under which CHR is going to assume all those responsibilities and move forward with the operation of the facility, again, as if they were otherwise purchasing it today, less the actual ownership of the real estate. So this document outlines all those duties, obligations, responsibilities, everything else that's going to be transitioning to CHR to effectively move things in the direction we anticipated going today anyway.
Term is for 30 days at a time, and it's $1 a month, right?
Well, the term, in practical purposes, the term allows it to continue until April 30th of 2015 is the entire length of the term. It gives us the right to terminate that with 30 days notice at any time. I would say, again, from a kind of cautious legal perspective, we sort of build in a buffer of time. If for whatever reason the transaction with CHR would need to be extended again, wouldn't close, would be other complications, things like that, it just permits us additional time to extend that through April 30th of 2015. Again, we could terminate that with our written notice upon 30 days.
Okay. And I did have two other questions that I don't think I got quite answers directly from CHR. I don't know if you have answers to these or not. Will you be implementing electronic medical records right away?
The original plan was to have the implementation be through stages. So, whether it completely transitioned today or not, that will be starting, education and training and setup will be starting in the next few months, but we won't go live probably until close to the first of the year.
Okay, so that is not going to happen tomorrow?
No.
Okay. Well, that answers that question. God forbid, I've been through 2 fires in my lifetime. In the event of a catastrophe, it's talking about us moving you, but it doesn't say within Lebanon County. Would that be something we could add to the contract, those words?
Could I address that?
Please.
So the practical reality there is it certainly depends on the extent of any loss to the property. If you talk about a fire or any sort of physical natural disaster loss like that, CHR has insurance that will cover that, and the county will continue to maintain insurance on the property as well. Our general terms of the agreement would allow for us to repair the facility and get them back in and operational within 6 months, or otherwise they can evaluate what to do at that time. I certainly appreciate the idea that natural disasters, unexpected events like that occur. I think it would be extremely unusual, certainly for a facility of this size, to be entirely shut down during something like that happening. Maybe portions of the building could, but otherwise, I think we kind of have ourselves covered from an insurance perspective. From actual operations, it would just depend where else people could be located within the building or otherwise moved and provided for. So I don't know if I exactly answer your question about Lebanon County, but I think that's the general overall how it could occur or would occur.
I'm just saying, in a worst-case scenario, if the entire building had to be shut down and we are helping them to move, would it be within Lebanon County?
I would think they would have the option under the agreement to terminate the lease if it would not be rebuilt or them able to re-enter within 6 months. That's really the only thing that we outlined in that we would have a duty to make the capital improvements along their insurance, our insurance. It would have to be rebuilt. Otherwise, there's nothing that states people would have to be relocated within Lebanon County. Certainly residents could move wherever they would be free to go. They wouldn't have to stay here at this facility or anywhere else. but I don't know what accommodation CHR might make.
You know, God forbid that would ever happen, but as a company that works with Department of Health, and we've had to help some assisted livings and other organizations close, what we do is, should there be a disaster here, we would actually work with the Department of Health field office to call all of the local facilities to see what bed availabilities they have, work with the families, work with the discharge planners, and find the closest possible for them. If they're obviously, to have a resident population this large, there's not that many open beds in the area, so we would then work with them to offer them temporary housing in other facilities that we manage, obviously the closest. Once the facility is able to come back, they would automatically be transferred back here.
Are there any other questions? Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
I'll move to accept.
Okay, I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
The next document I have, or two documents kind of very similar here. We were intending all along, the county intends to continue to operate and run the Renova Center and the elder care facility here, the adult daycare facility. We will continue to do that as regularly planned. We have previously adopted lease agreements that would have been executed today to allow us to lease back those facilities from CHR. As we're leasing them, the entire building in operation, otherwise, we're still going to execute what we're calling now just sublease agreements. We'll continue to lease those spaces, those operations, and continue to operate them, again, as we had otherwise planned without interruption. CHR will be providing some meal services, laundry services, maintenance, janitorial, things like that. So again, all of this is, again, exactly according to plan as we had already expected them to go, just a different format of the agreement effectively. So the first one I would present for you would be the sublease agreement for the Elder Care Center.
I have not had an opportunity to read this. Has it been changed that the rent for that for us is $1 as well?
There's no rent due on the agreement until CHR completes the closing of the asset purchase agreement.
Okay.
So the only thing we'll be paying CHR for, again, is the actual services they be providing to us, to the residents, and also for utilities that will be shared, common utilities, things like that, that we will be paying our portion for, which is the exact same arrangements for those terms that we had under the prior lease agreement that the commissioners adopted.
And is this the same for both leases?
That's the exact same for both leases.
Do you want separate motions for each lease?
I think it would be appropriate, yes.
Is there a motion on the Renova Center lease?
Make a motion to approve the Renova Center
I'll
lease.
second the motion.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there a motion on the elder care lease?
I'll move to approve it.
Second.
Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Is there anyone else who has anything they would like to say or any questions that you have at this time? If not, I want to thank each and every one of you for coming today. I know that this is a very emotional time for everyone, residents, staff, the public, family of those who live here, or family of those who work here. We're doing everything we can to make a smooth transition, and we want to say thank you to Jamie and David and Jay and CHR for continuing to work forward. Marcia out in front taking a lot of the hits, I'm sure. We really respect that you were willing to step into this position for us, so thank you. And thank you to each and every one who takes care of our residents. We value what you do. It's my understanding that you will all be offered jobs or have been offered jobs and will continue on. So I wish you all the best in the future, and of course we're not done yet as we had anticipated, but we certainly will continue to try and communicate and keep that communication open so that you know what's going on as time goes on. Bob, did you have anything you wanted to say?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Jamie? Then this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.